Hey everybody, I am Lauren Reagan with Coastal Edge Group and Keller Williams, and this video is all about the things that I love and aren't so great about living in South Carolina, specifically living in Charleston. So to start, I'm going to give you the 3 things that I love. Now, I could easily do a video of 2 or 3 dozen things that I love about Charleston. My fiance and I moved here, like a lot of people are moving here, just because we wanted to. 33 people a day, actually, the latest numbers from after 2020, moved to the Charleston area. So we moved here not for a job, not because we had to, but just because we looked all over the country, honestly, and this was our favorite city. So of course we love it, but as with every decision, there are pros and cons. So the 3 things that I love most are, number 1, the proximity to water, number 2, green space and architecture, and number 3, Southern cooking, Southern seafood, all about the food. So those are the 3 things that I love. The first one, proximity to water. So we actually live about 20 miles away from the coast, just 20 miles. And I'm a Midwestern girl, so I grew up with the closest ocean being 12 to 14 hours away. So that part is incredible. We absolutely love it. I can go to the ocean any day of the week, on a weekday, Tuesday morning, whenever I want. I can go to the ocean. That is incredible. I also love all the water sports that come with that. This is the first place I parasailed, kayaking, surfing, boating. It's a beautiful place to sail, to fish. Everything about water and water sports, it's here in Charleston. So much outdoor living. One of my favorite things to do is go down to Shim Creek in the Mount Pleasant area and kayak with dolphins. I still get a little emotional every time I see a dolphin. I mean, you guys, I grew up in an area where that was only something that happened a couple times in my life, and now I can go anytime and kayak right next to them. It's pretty incredible. For free. I just take my kayak down there. It's the coolest thing ever. So water is my number 1. It's the biggest reason we moved here. Number 2, green space and architecture. So this is really more than 2 things, or more than 1 thing, it's 2, but I put them together because I think this is something that makes Charleston different from any other beachside town really in the country. And that is the historical significance, the architecture downtown, and all of the trees, all of the green space. And being downtown, White Point Garden, walking through along the Battery and seeing all of the historic homes on one side, the harbor on the other, and just this line of beautiful live oak trees with Spanish moss in the middle. It's such a romantic and beautiful, truly beautiful place to be, and it's what makes Charleston, and why it's truly so much more than a beach town. Charleston is an incredible city and charming city in its own right, even without the water. 3, Southern seafood, Southern cooking. I mean, that's it, you guys. That is the icing on the cake, if you will, to living here. The first time we came on vacation here, we were here for 7 days. I gained 5 pounds. Like, what? The food is incredible. The buttermilk biscuits, the shrimp and grits, crab cakes are one of my favorites, fried green tomatoes, sweet tea, the whole 9 yards, Southern Carolina style barbecue. I mean, so much, you guys. Downtown, there are so many incredible restaurants. Charleston's becoming more and more famous for our food, and that is one of my favorite things to do in general, is to eat. So definitely a favorite thing to do in Charleston. So now let's get to 3 things that are not so great, that are negatives that I hate about living in Charleston. Number 1, the humidity. Now, if you're planning on moving here, humidity is something you've heard so much about. The humidity just hangs around all the time. It never goes away. There's no, waking up at 6 a.m. and it's not humid during the summer, like July, August, September, it's humid all the time. So that's a big thing. Not enough to make me not want to live here. Summer lasts longer, and that's why, but along with that comes the humidity. Second, alligators. Oh my gosh, you guys. There are alligators everywhere. Our subdivision had one, somebody had one in their front yard, like on their porch, on their front porch, there was an alligator. It was really a downside for me because I love float trips and being out in the river. I grew up playing in creeks, and the worst thing I could run into at a creek would be a snake. And here, it's an alligator. And while there are plenty of people, if you're watching this and you live in the South, I'm sure you're laughing at me. There are plenty of people that go tubing and down the river in a boat or kayak or even just an inner tube in the rivers here. But for me, I'm just not Southern enough for that. And then number 3, the third thing that is a negative to living in Charleston for me is the lack of affordable housing. Now, I'm going to stop here and just point out that this could be a pro for you. Affordable housing is really a reason that a lot of people move here. For people that are moving here from Seattle, from New Jersey and New York, from Chicago, from bigger metropolitan areas and states where taxes are much higher, they're going to think the state, and they do think the state, is insanely affordable. As the taxes absolutely will blow your mind. They blew our mind how cheap the property taxes were here in comparison to what we were used to even in the Midwest. However, it was a negative for us. We had major sticker shock because we were coming from an area where you could get a single family 3-bed, 2-bath house for $200,000. And here in this area, in the suburbs where we are, closer to $300,000. If you're looking in the Charleston, within the city of Charleston, and areas around there, your average home price can be more like $450,000. There are ways around that. You can live in a townhome, of course. Looking at attached homes, we're seeing more and more attached townhomes being built for this reason. Also, moving further out away from the water. I mean, where we live, we're 22 miles. We can still get to the beach, even on a busy beach day, within an hour. So that works for us, and it's a benefit that a lot of my clients have seen. They'll move further out into Somerville. I adore Somerville. If you watch any of my videos, I've also got clients moving out further to Moncks Corner and areas like that. So there are ways around it, but the cost of housing was definitely a sticker shock for my fiance and I. Ultimately, it comes down to what's most important to you. What are your goals? What do you need? And for us overall, Charleston was it. I mean, it's our favorite city in the country, and we moved here solely because we love it so much. If you are interested in moving to Charleston, please reach out, send me a message, and let's talk. I'm happy to give you all of my pros and cons in depth and talk to you about some of your concerns. I was speaking to all of you today in one of my favorite places in Charleston, definitely my favorite places in my home, which is our screened-in porch. This is a very common thing here to have a screened-in porch, porch living, outdoor living, and as you saw in this video, we got a little afternoon storm here, and I was able to still hang out and watch it rain. It has cooled off, even just in the time I've been sitting here with you. So what a cool thing to have a little storm in the middle of my video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day.